Okay. Good evening, everybody. Happy June staff meeting. While people are still joining us, what is your favorite part about summertime? If you can see the PowerPoint, can you give me a thumbs up that you can see it? If you can't see it, I'm going to fix it. Okay. Please make sure you sign in the chat if you have the ability to type. If you don't, the sign-in sheet on paper will be by the mailboxes tomorrow. Brittany, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see the PowerPoint? Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure. Got it. All right. Just a reminder, if you have any graduates, any of the children who are graduating and they were in your class at any point and you have pictures of them or videos or something on ProCare or maybe saved in some cloud somewhere, you can send to me through Messenger. I have some people sending me pictures now. Or if you would rather send me like a whole album and you have iPhone, then you can send me the invitation to the whole album. So whatever works best for you guys. All right, I love some of these responses. So I'm going to read what's their favorite part about summertime. And we have boating and beaching by Stephanie. Lucky lady with her boat. She catches some awesome fish. She had like a whole thing full of fish. I get some of that fish. Emma Grace said, my favorite thing about summer is my birthday. That's exciting. Have a summer birthday. Ruby says, my kid's not having school, so I get to sleep in. That's always a good thing. Chelsea said, going to the beach. Ditto. Barbie said, not having to prep for school the next day. Very good point. And Joyce said, vacationing. Yeah, everyone's taking some nice trips this summer. Very, very jealous. When my kids are older, maybe we'll go away. Okay. All right. If you want to keep typing, you're more than welcome to share. Amy says, no NC pre-K lesson plans. Yeah, those are a doozy. They have pages and pages to write for each week. So super staff members of the month of May. Sorry, that's supposed to say May. This person, so there's two people this time. They've been with Sneads Ferry for 5+ years. They stuck with us through a rough first year. You know about our first year. It was just not pretty. There were no rainbows and butterflies that first year, but we learned a lot. Organized and thoughtful about her space. She's flexible by making changes and adapting to last-minute decisions. She really cares about her job and our school. She makes sure she speaks with the students and engages with them every time she enters a room. She's dependable and punctual, which is a big deal, and fantastic time and attendance record. She's the best kitchen manager anyone could ask for. So that kind of gives it away, but we wanted to put that in there. Now, the next person has been with Sneads Ferry Quality for 5+ years. They've also stuck with us through the rough first year, and we're very encouraging and supportive. They've grown as an administrator. They're excellent time and attendance as well. Parents compliment her attentiveness and support through her first days of sending their babies off to childcare and preschool. She always checks in with them, and she makes sure they're ready and set to bring their kids into school for the first time, or maybe just changing preschools or daycares, childcares. And they take on new challenges with a smile and work very hard behind the scenes. So our people for May were Miss Pam and Miss Michelle. So round of applause to them. We've just been seeing some fantastic things from them. So, and Joyce wants to say, I'd like to question her flexibility. Love you, Pam. She makes it work. She makes it work. All right. We want to welcome to Sneads Ferry Quality, Miss Whitney. She just began with us on Monday, I want to say. This week is going by, so I think it was Monday. She is currently a flex teacher, but we're hoping she'll join our school age summer program and school age program for the school year. But we'll see how things go. You know, everyone always has their preferences and where they feel most comfortable. Miss Liberty, I think I introduced you last month, but now you're officially in our crew. So welcome, Miss Liberty. And it was her birthday today, right, Miss Joyce? So happy birthday to Miss Liberty. Happy birthday. And she is currently working in room 3 as a co-teacher with Miss Chelsea. Miss Jasmine, we want to welcome you as well. I think I mentioned you last month, but officially welcome to Sneed's Ferry Quality. She's in room 9 as a co-teacher with Miss Courtney, and we're very happy to have you guys join us. So thank you so much. Our June's newsletter, Miss Ruby put it together, and it's just gorgeous. It has some important information in there. Some things that I'm going to touch on later, but just some highlights from it are that our graduation is this Saturday. There's one ceremony at 11. There's one ceremony at 12:30. 12:30, not 1 o'clock, because I think one flyer I wrote said 1 o'clock, but it is 12:30, because last year we were just twiddling our thumbs for far too long waiting for the second ceremony. So I put them together a little with a little less time in between. The water day schedule, and that starts on the week of June 12th. So families know to look for water day announcements. Please message them through ProCare, and then take note that Miss Ruby did not put a time, because sometimes you want to combine classes on the big playground, which is totally fine. That big playground can hold 44 students at once. So 2 classes, if you want to do water play and you feel it's safe and secure to do so, you can do that. You just have to make sure that you coordinate it well, and there's no one else who needs the playground at that time. And then the other playgrounds, we want to make sure that there's only 1 class at a time, and we don't have a wet playground for the following group. So we do have to make sure that the kids who play on it after water play, we're trying to just use the big playground, the big school age playground, and then everybody else will go on a substitute playground those days. That way you don't have wet heinies going down slides, you're not running through puddles on the artificial turf. It's all kept on that big school age playground, and we know those 2 hoses, they work. If Miss Pam needs a hose, then we'll have 1 hose available, and you can have a big splash pad going with that. We can also use some toys, so I'll show you which water toys are appropriate. The water day checklist is at the bottom of this page. We strongly recommend you send a photo to your families, maybe a few days before every water day, so that they know they have what they need for their child. And teacher accomplishments of May, we want to say congratulations to Miss Jeannie. We said this during our meeting, but she accomplished her administration credentials, which is a big deal. And we just want to thank her for her fantastic support and school age program over the years. Okay. Oh, and we're closed the 19th. Hold on. We're closed June 19th for Juneteenth. So make sure that you know that and give your parents a heads up. Okay. New hires and reminders for everyone else. These are for you. Please do not park in the front row of the main building. These spots are reserved for student drop off and pickup only. Parents who have multiple children are lugging all their children from the house of breakfast over to the front door. And that's not fair to them because they're bringing multiple children. If you are dropping your children off before you are going to work, please treat yourself as a parent. So you would park in the front, bring your children to class, then take your car and park it somewhere else. Just like if you were driving to work, right? You would take your car and bring it to your place of work. So you can park by the second building. You can park on the other side, which gets full quickly. And I think there's some spots over on the other side of Cancun if you'd like to park there as well. And we're just making sure that there is plenty of space for our parents during pickup, drop off and pickup. And make sure you don't clock in until your children are fully checked into their rooms. You have gone potty, whatever you need to do, and then you're clocking in. Because if you're clocking in and then going to drop children off, you're on the clock. You should probably be in a classroom or working on something with children or something else that needs to be done. So just make sure you're keeping that in mind. Clock in at most 5 minutes before your shift, because if you do any more than 5 minutes before or after your shift, then it throws the time and attendance off when Joyce does payroll. So it tends to look like you worked an extra 15, 20 minutes when really you had made a bunch of pit stops and then you went to work. And that's why it seems like you've been working all that time. So just make sure that you are clocking in at most 5 minutes before, and about your lunch hours as well. If you're in the middle of a task, that person who covers for you, they're going to dive into that task that you're working on so that you are able to go about and have your break and your full hour, and make sure that we're not starting to trickle down where, oh, you were 2 minutes late and the next person's 4 minutes late and the next person's 5 minutes late, and then becomes 20 minutes late for the last lunch, and when that person who's the flex teacher has to go cover someone who leaves, or we need them at 3 o'clock because buses are being dismissed, that becomes a big deal because they're 20 minutes late to what they were supposed to do at 3 o'clock. Please always ask questions. If you are confused about something, if you need support and you're just not sure, please ask, because if we don't know you have that question, it'll never be answered for you. So don't be afraid. Come ask us, come in the office. You can message us, and always be honest. If we ask you how things are going and they're not going so great because you feel something is not settled, then please let us know. If you are having a wonderful time, then also let us know that too. But we're more concerned about when you're holding things in and you let them fester and grow, and then, nothing good happens. If you're a flex teacher, ask the teachers what you can do, jump in and get your hands dirty. Seasoned staff members are there to support you and help you learn. So if you are new to a room, they are really your guiding source, right? They're there to build you up and show you the way that it should be done that's most efficient, effective, and considered for the whole classroom. A lot of classrooms, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, the ABC chart for teachers, you took the time to write them. Every classroom should have one, but they have to be posted on your closet door. So everyone, please listen. Your ABC charts for teachers, their jobs, please make sure that they're posted on your closet door so that when somebody like a flex teacher comes on in and you say, you're teacher B, I'm doing this, and I'm teacher A, they can figure out what their job is and dive right in instead of looking around the room. They can't find the chart. It's stuck under this clipboard. Make it obvious for them so they know exactly where to go. And that's the closet door. Pop it right on there. And if you need to keep changing things because your routines are being flexible and you're just adjusting to it, that's awesome. You should always be addressing things that are changing in your room. Maybe at this point in time, you have these students struggling with this routine. So you want your flex teacher to go be their support system, or maybe you want to be the support system and the flex teacher takes over the rest of the crew. Whatever you want to do, make sure it's written on that chart for them. Can someone send Miss Dawn the link one more time? Maybe if she gets it in a private message, she'll be able to join. Reminders again, lesson plans should be hanging and posted before Monday mornings. If you're in a new summer position and you are now becoming a lead or a co-teacher, please make sure you are double checking those lesson plans are also dated for the current week. Shouldn't see a lesson plan from 3 weeks ago and you keep crossing out and putting a new date on top. That's not going to fly. So make sure at least white it out, make a copy, and then write the new date on. Because if you know who comes along, she will see that there is a new lesson plan with one current date of the week, and then you're good to go. So sometimes you might need to use the same lesson plan for 2 weeks because you didn't accomplish everything. That's fine, but it has to be current, and you can't just cross out the date. So you do have to white it out, copy it, and then write the new date on top. That's acceptable. Menus and schedules should be posted when received in mailboxes on Thursday, Fridays before. Also, when you walk into a classroom Monday morning, you should see these things. The lesson plan is the current week, the menu is the current week, and make sure that you have the meal program sheets for the classroom on the checklist so that your clipboard is ready to go and you can mark children for breakfast that morning and you have a current attendance roster just in case of emergency. Whiteboard should always be updated. That doesn't mean you are standing at the door all morning, writing on that whiteboard and looking down the hallway. It is only when a new child comes into the room for the morning, maybe 2 come in and trickle in, and then you go address the board. The time that it really matters for Pam is around 10 o'clock when she goes and does numbers. Then after 10 o'clock, you're going to radio to Pam that you got one. Now this is the new number, Miss Pam, and then she'll adjust it. But what she's been doing is she's been cooking for the maximum number of the class. So if you know you're going to have maybe 14 that day, but your room holds 16, then she'll probably give you 16 plates just to be sure. That way you don't have to play catch up when that wandering child comes in at 10:40 and it's already time to be served. She's planning for that. If you know about your specialty milks, that's what the big deal is, because making sure the specialty milks, we don't want to waste the milk of the specialty milk child. Check and empty your mailboxes daily. Make sure those bad boys are emptied. You check it all. charge tablets and walkie-talkies each evening. So if you're closing the room, the last thing you should be checking are the walkie-talkies are plugged in and that red light is on, and then the tablets should be charged into the wall as well. Complete items from the nap time list each day. I've noticed in some classrooms you've been doing the things from the list. And one day, I guess it was last week, I asked people to scrub their chairs because they were getting real nasty in the sides of their tables. And if you've done that, that's a big job on that nap time list. There's some other ones like wiping out the cubby bins. You notice how gross those get. And I don't really know why, because it's just spare clothes and sometimes pull-ups, but there's sand in there sometimes. Little bugs can get in there. So you definitely want to wipe it out because the parents are bringing in a change of clothes, putting it into this bin, and they might notice how yucky it is, or little yucky fingerprints are all over them. So cleaning those out once a week or every 2 weeks is definitely a big deal.
Speaking of clothes, we are out of clothes for backup clothes. So please, everybody, make sure that you are asking your parents to bring in clothes for their kids. They are responsible for that. And if we don't have any backup clothes, we're going to have to send them home because we have nothing else to put on them. So please ask them to make sure that they have those backup clothes. And also, if anybody has any clothes that they would like to donate for us so that we might be able to get more into our backup clothes, that would be awesome. If you can put that out on your ProCare apps to ask people, they might be switching clothes over or whatever. We could always use those backups.
Yes, and with the restocking of clothes, a nap time checklist item could be to look through the cubbies and make sure that a child has 2 items of change. So 2 pairs of socks, 2 pairs of underwear, shirts, and pants. If you know they are very accident prone, then you probably want to ask for 3 pairs of pants and 3 pairs of underwear. But making sure that they're stocked up, you could just do that at one nap time and then send those messages to the parents and tell them exactly what their child needs, or you can send a mass message that they need to bring these things. Supply list, make sure those are to Brittany by Wednesday. Like I said, if you need it ordered and you know it's something special, try to do it 2 weeks in advance. So you definitely will get the material on time. And reimbursements, don't go buying stuff unless you get it approved, because we will most definitely probably have those items for you in storage or in the supply closet. Or maybe a fellow teacher has it and they are willing to share. Reminders, more. Come back from lunch on time. I already talked about that. And please don't restrain children. I know that sometimes you're trying to do it to protect them and you have their best interest at heart, but you want to keep yourself and the other children safe when another child is being violent or aggressive. So taking those other children away from the situation, calling for admin, we come in and we are able to work with that child. Unless you really want to keep building that relationship with that child, then we'll take the other children outside or across the room or somewhere else so that they're safe while you work with the child in need. We will document it and we will reach out to the parents in times of violence and aggression. End of the day, please make sure that those kids have dry butts, they have clean faces, and if it was raining earlier in the day, you make sure that their pants are not going home soaking wet. Understand that it's warm out, so like if they're playing outside still and their pants are a little wet, just make sure that you offer to change the child before they go home or before they enter the building and they're a late pickup and you're all done playing outside. That's when you do have to change their pants, because we don't want them sitting in a cold building with cold pants. But playing outside, they're bound to get in a puddle if it just rained. But understanding that we should make sure they go home or go indoors changed and dry. Every classroom lead should have a co-teacher now. Thankfully, we do have that going on, and they should be present till about 4:30. So making sure those diapers, especially diapers and pull-ups, are changed by that time. So the person who is left with the class, typically the co-teacher, is then left with children who maybe just poop or have a super pee accident or something. But all the masses have been changed by the time your lead teacher or the person who leaves earlier in the day goes home. Okay. And again, parents are always imagining, they just have this perception. If they leave their kid and they're crying their eyes out when they walk away from them to go to work, they're just thinking their kid's crying all day long. We get calls a lot from moms and dads who are concerned because they left their child and their child was distraught. Even though we say they've calmed down, they're playing, they're having a great old time, you're sending them pictures of their kid, they still have it in the back of their mind. So they come back in the evening to pick their child up. The child might be tired by that point and they're crying again. It's this perception that parents get, and we can't help that fact, but showing them that you're consoling them, that you are sending those pictures of them having a great time during the day, that they were socializing with friends and not crying. Those are things that are reassuring to parents. And then we have the parents who, even if we do those things, they still are extremely concerned. So those are the parents typically admin will work very hard with and one-on-one with to reassure them and console them ourselves. But that's very rare. Closers checklist, you've seen this before. Please don't forget about the playgrounds. Miss Jenna came in on Saturday as one of the teachers who worked for a teacher work day on Saturday, and she did clean out the playground. She picked up a lot of debris. So just please make sure you are taking those garbage bags, bringing them inside with you and dumping them with the rest of your trash. That's going to eliminate a lot of trash and debris from flying up out of the trash cans onto the rest of the playgrounds and into the parking lot and stuff like that. And we have a hallway checklist. Please make sure that you are making sure that the hallway checklist is complete. So if you are responsible for closing a couple of rooms, you could even initial that hallway checklist to make sure that we know it's been done. Scheduling time off. 2 weeks ahead, please. Is your co-teacher out that day? Then please try to pick a different day so that your children are not without both of you. It's like when mom and dad both go on a trip and we're asking somebody else to come in and watch the kids. They don't know their routines. They don't know how to work with them and calm them and soothe them and keep them engaged as well as you guys do. So we try to ask that you keep it so that one person's off and then the other co-teacher, they're off the next day, or you kind of work out some schedule together so that your kids are not without. Make sure you try to do sub plans, please. One example is Miss Natalie, when she went away this last week, she had all her sub plans. She had a big gallon-sized baggie for each day. She put the book of the day, the lesson plan, activities for arts and crafts, and other things for her kids to do, so that whoever was going to sub in her room had an idea of what to do with her children. Now, maybe they didn't do everything in those sub baggies, but they had options and they had ways to work with the children that were familiar to them. If you're coming into the room and you've never worked with these children before, maybe just a handful of times, you're not accustomed to what they do every day. So writing out the routines for the sub and just always having that laminated when you go out and you're out, that's very helpful. I used to have something called a sub tub when I was teaching. I put my routines, our schedule, our expectations, those friends who need a little extra support were on that paper, but I just put their initials on there and different things like that. So when my subs came in, they weren't left without, and they weren't pulling all their hairs out by the time they left my classroom. Because I had some fun friends. I had 35 fourth graders when I was leaving Baltimore, and that's a lot of fourth graders. Okay. And if you have too many absences, we will start asking for doctor's notes, and you may get a write-up and it might be dismissal. So please make sure you are conscientious of your absences, please. Fighting incidents, all different things with non-injury, injury, those are all legal documents. So please make sure you're writing in black ink, and those things are given to parents to sign. If you miss the parent, then you can always give it to the front office and ask us to have them sign it. But a good thing to do, good rule of thumb, is to let them know that this is waiting for them. So if you had an incident report for a child that day, and you're messaging the parent, so-and-so fell, they're okay, there's just a scratch, but you do have an injury report to sign. That gives them the heads up to look for it, and you can even say it'll be in their black pocket or their pickup pocket, whatever you want to call it, when you pick up today. Especially with biting reports, you want to make sure you notify the parents. If it's a severe bite or severe injury or something's concerning, tell us, and we can notify the parents and make sure that we're aware of it too. Because if there's so many things that occur, we want to make sure that we're aware and we can work with the parents to address it and the class. Okay, this has become an issue, so I want to address it. Supervision in the classrooms. This is more prevalent in the mornings and not as much in the afternoon, but it's not that it doesn't happen in the afternoon. So please make sure you're supervising your children in the mornings. Please stop standing halfway in and out of the classrooms. If you cannot help yourself, make sure your door is shut. So if you're in the morning and your kids are trickling in, when they come into the room, then you're greeting them, you're greeting the parent, you're getting their things in their cubby, you're getting them settled with washing hands and breakfast. That's where your focus lies. You're working with the kids in the room. Then you go write them on the whiteboard and go right back to what you were doing with children. You're engaging children, you're working with children in the morning. There's a long list of things to do every morning. I mean, those kids are doing breakfast, they're playing in centers and small group, you're talking to parents, you're making sure that they're all set, you're all set for the day. Lots of different things are happening. So there should be no reason for us to be standing in the hallway and just checking out that front door. You hear the doorbell, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're in a classroom. You can't get the door anyway. So just make sure that your body is and your attention is in your classroom. If you're tempted, like I said, shut the door. If if you hear that doorbell and you just can't help yourself, shut the door. Go ahead and then focus in on your kids, because that's where your priorities lie, are with your students. Okay. Water day schedules. This was on the newsletter, so it's a little fuzzy, sorry, but this is the water day schedule. You can send it to your parents or just send what's specific for your students to your parents. They begin the week of the 12th. Please message your parents. Plastic bags with names. So the parents, some of them like to pack backpacks, fine, but they have to have their name on the bag that's going to be returning home and the bag that comes in, because sometimes they just give you a plastic grocery bag. There's no name on the bag, no name on the towel, no name on the change of clothes, and they pop it in the room and they leave. Well, who knows whose bag that is? I mean, maybe you've seen that towel over a few water days, but that first water day is going to be a you know what if nothing is labeled. So make sure they are labeling towels, they are labeling changes of clothes, they're labeling the bag. The backpacks, the little ones, those are fine, I guess, that's fine. But we really prefer plastic bags with their names written on them. That way you can just tie it up when they're going to go home, their towel, their bathing suit goes in there, and the parents know to pick them up. So what we found, which is helpful, is after water day, they line up the hallway during rest time with the plastic bags, and the names are very obvious. So the parents can come grab the bag and then they're on their way out, because we don't want wet clothes sitting in there for a few days. It starts to get real stinky. So making sure that the parents have an obvious spot where to pick up water day items. And making sure that they apply their sunscreen before they arrive, because we are only responsible for sunscreen in the afternoons. Oh, and please make sure that the names are obvious for sunscreen. Either use masking tape on the side of your bottle, or you can have a list that you've laminated and you keep it with the bottle, whatever works best. You should have a bunch of waivers signed now and a whole bunch of names for sunscreen, because we already sent that out, I think in March or early April. And splash pads and sprinklers are available to use. The water cannot be deeper than 2 inches. So if you notice that splash pad, for some reason, it's lying on the package to me and it says that and it's greater than 2 inches when you're experiencing it, please tell me, because we cannot have water higher than 2 inches, can't be deeper than 2 inches. I have to find us another way to celebrate water. Graduation is this Saturday. We have our first celebration with NC Pre-K at 11. And then our second one is for private preschool, which includes Sneads Ferry and Holly Ridge at 12:30. So if you'd like to come watch them sing and dance and enjoy the ceremonies with us, you are welcome. There is tons of room in the Dixon Middle School auditorium. It's humongo. And it should be a good time. They have been practicing very hard. We're so excited. Kickoff to summer event. That is this June 17th from 2 to 4 is the actual event. I sent out a Microsoft Office forms asking for people who would like to work the event. Either you can help set up, you can help during, you can help after, you can help a combination or the whole day. If you're free and you want to earn some extra cash, it's $15 an hour for a total of 6 hours, potentially 6 hours of work. And it'll be paid in a separate kind of paycheck, and you're welcome to join us and help working. We really hope you do. I only have about 8 people respond, and this is an opportunity where all of our families are invited to come, and we have a ton of community resources coming in. There's free food for attendees who come. And if you do come with your children because you want to enjoy the day, we just can't pay you because you're not working the event with us, you're enjoying it with your children. So just keep that in mind. This is the flyer that I sent out, and it has all the different resources and programs from the community who are joining us. So if you know a family has been looking for support for their child, and you're like, they really would do great with title therapies, but they're kind of iffy about it, they have the opportunity to sit and talk with and experience something with title therapies, because they're going to have like a little activity to do with the children who enter that room. What we're going to do is set up every classroom with a resource. So say room 2 has got title therapies in there, and Lauren from Title Therapy, she might have a little activity demonstrating what they work on and how they do it in their sessions. And the best part about title therapies is they do a push-in method, and they've been working with the child in NC pre-K, though it's only been for a few days. They are doing a push-in method, which means they go into the classroom and work with the child so they can address in real time the issues that are occurring instead of isolated and away in the hallway. And it doesn't really give the therapist a sense of what the triggers are. You fill out these ABC charts all the time, but no one truly sees the antecedent and the behavior unless they're in the room with you. And these therapists are pulling these kids out into the hallway, and they don't see these behaviors unless they're extreme behaviors, but they don't see these behaviors because the child isn't with 15 other 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds. When they're surrounded by these other children, it might be some kind of anxiety, it might be a frustration, it might be overwhelming to be around those children, and the therapist can't support them in their time of need because they're not in the room. So title therapy has been doing this, and I'm hoping to see success with these children who they're doing it with, as it's the perfect scenario. But anyway, so the parents can experience what these people have to offer in our community, and then they can sign up with them right then and there, which is great. So we're kind of hands off. They're going to work with them, and they're going to sign up with them, and then they'll get going on their therapy sessions or whatever the case may be. We also have Thompson Soccer Shots. We have Military Family and Life Counseling Service, which is great. Ruby got them to come. They're going to be coming on Saturday. Mountain Movers, so Janae will be here. Topsail Dance Arts, a whole bunch of different things. We have face painting, probably done by yours truly, because we only have 8 people responding on the Microsoft forms. So if you really want to do face painting, you can take over for me because I am not an artist. And Turkey Creek Fire Truck will be coming on in, so the kids get to see the fire truck up close and personal. And all the playgrounds will be open. So for teacher registrations, it's this form right here. Click to sign up and help work before, during, or after the event. Please, please help, please help. You get paid to help, and you can have some free food too. We would greatly appreciate it. We understand some of you are on vacation, totally get that. If you're free, maybe you can help just for a portion of it. Okay, Sun Life coverage, vision, and dental. I spoke with Christina, who's our representative today, and she wanted me to share with you that the rates are not changing. So if you happen to have dental and vision right now, your rates are not changing for the next year. This is everything that's offered. I know it's a little small font, but if you pull it up, you can enlarge things. I have a whole booklet for you if you want one. It tells you all the benefits, all the things that are included, that are free of charge, the things that do cost you if you need to get them done. So they're all there, basic coverage. You get one in any 6 consecutive months. You can have an oral evaluation, which is typical. So every 6 months, you can have your mouth checked out and cleaned, freshened up. And then they tell you if you got a cavity or not. And then you got to pay for the filling, I'm sure. Just brush your teeth, everybody. So this is for vision and dental. So if you are in need of glasses, I believe they put forward $130, and then you get 20% off after that. So if you need glasses, they take off $130, they'll cover it, and then 20% of that is covered for the remainder. If you're curious about United Healthcare, which is the health insurance that we have, that renewal is starting July 1st. We'll have more information for you. So July staff meeting, I'll tell you all about it. And then you can sign up if you would like to. Open enrollment begins, I believe, in August or September, but I'll tell you more about it then. So if you're interested in dental or vision, now's the time. Just let me know you want an enrollment application and I will hand it over to you. Okay, summer camp programs. New positions and schedules will begin on Monday. So when Ruby sent the schedule out, you might notice some changes. No changes were very severe, but you will notice maybe a little bit of a tweak here and there to the schedules just because school aid isn't being picked up or dropped off anymore. We have them here all day. Things like that have to be taken into account. So please keep that in mind. The NC Pre-K summer program will be in the main building and school age will take over building 2. Just in case you've never experienced that before, that's what we do for the summer program. We are hiring more flex teachers. We had 4 on the board as of the other day. So as soon as they're able to start, we will have more support in the classrooms. It's SFQCC with all lowercase. Oh, I can't get into the meeting. Okay, from Chantale. These are links from Chantale. There's a wellness Padlet for mental health. And there's ideas for early educators with circle time, transitions, classroom management, social emotional lessons. These are live links. So when you open up the PowerPoint that I send you later, you can click them and you can access all the awesome resources. I'm going to show you a couple. All right, let's bring this over. Okay, so this is one Padlet. This is for tips for early educators. And they go and she has all these different categories. So you have one category here that shows you, okay, one category here that shows you for teachers and administrators, social emotional regulation cozy center, diverse inclusive classrooms, how to create them, surviving nap time. So that might be one that we want to look at and see what they have there for you. Natural playgrounds, which, hey, maybe one day we can do that at Holly Ridge. Loose parts play, which I hear great things about. I'm just not experienced in it. And then art centers over here. I'm sure I can move the page across, but I don't have the access right now. So anyway, that is the one Padlet. And then we had another Padlet for wellness. And this one shows different call centers. So if you need some support and you want to speak with someone, there are a bunch of free support call centers. So you don't have to pay for therapists. You have someone there who's going to respond and listen and support you if you don't feel comfortable speaking with us, but our door is always open. There's webinars and trainings, items for your physical health. We were speaking with Chantale, Ruby, and I about some people's personal goals. And I don't want to share names, but some individuals really want to get back into the fitness of things and be more active. And what better way to be more active, you're going to hate me, than running around with your kids during outdoor time. So running and playing with them, playing hide and seek and tag and duck, duck, goose and relay races, all kinds of stuff. But that's a great way to stay physical. And you're supporting your children on the playground. You're supervising children on the playground. Breaking a sweat for sure, but that's a good way to be active for 1 whole hour. And then you have afternoon play. So that's 2 hours of physical fitness you got under your belt every day, guaranteed, unless it's raining. But then you can also add in, and we were talking about different ways people can kind of like socialize and get physical activities in. And I remember Miss Heather used to grab some friends and they would walk up and down the road that the middle school we share with. And on their lunch hour, they would take a couple laps back and forth and they chit chat and they would track their steps. And it was a great way for them to kind of get a break from everything, get their activity in and share some time with a friend. So if you have that in mind, you can come to Ruby or myself and we'll try to work it out. We at least get that once or twice a week and you can have a lunch hour that you plan to be physically active and do something outside with a buddy. So we'll try to work that out for you. And Ms. Chantale expressed that some people were interested in it. So we definitely want to make that happen for you. Another item was healthy eating initiative and just making sure that maybe we have some kind of competition with that where you're filling your plate with things that are healthier. So we'll try to work that out. But we did hear you. Chantale expressed it to us. So we're going to try to make it fun and something that we can do across all of our centers. There's mindfulness and stress management. So different ways you can play some calming sounds and different things like that for yourself. I'm really sorry they can't get into the meeting. I don't know why. I didn't change anything. It's all the same. The link below is to Cox Campus, and this is a free resource for early educators and K-8 educators. There are free courses you can earn certificates for. So if you know you're one of those people who need like 15 or 20 contact hours, this is free. This is for you. So you can go through these courses during Zoom meetings together if you want. So Chantale is willing to go through it with you if you need it. And they have a lot of courses that will help with preventing challenging behaviors. So instead of dealing with the challenging behavior that it comes to you, and there you are in it, this is how to make sure they don't happen in the classroom. So it's just more tools for your tool belt. Like we always say, we're trying to give you more tools so you feel comfortable in your room and you can handle anything, like mostly anything. And this is another way to do it. These are free courses. Watch them in your pajamas, enjoy, you get certificates for it, and you'll feel like you have more tools in your tool belt. So you can work with your kids and you can support them before these things occur. Because we've seen these children, they're having some rough moments. But how do we avoid those rough moments or prevent them from happening as frequently? So that's what this link is for. So when I send it out, click that link. This is check out the Pinterest site for visual tools to promote social emotional development. So this is great. This is great for all ages because we're trying to develop little productive, responsible citizens by the time they go to kindergarten, right? We don't want to be enablers, but maybe we need that support in our classroom to build them up so they can solve their own problems. So that's a great link right there. It's Tucker NC Nest. So it's all about social emotional support. Great for all ages. You can literally do it with toddlers all the way to the school agers. They have resources for you. This is a virtual binder, so it's always changing. They're always adding more things. This live binder's here, and this has different things that are scripted. So if you're like, I'm not a person who can just get a book and think of a lesson plan on my own, this tells you exactly what to say and what to do with your kids and what book to go get from the library. We might even have the book. So if you want to ask ahead of time, plan your lesson, print out the scripted wording that you need to use with your students, whatever developmentally appropriate for them, and you're set. There you are, your social emotional lesson for your crew, and you got it ready for the day, and it's already written for you. Pretty easy. And there they are on Twitter. So it's O Behave Tips. So if you're on Twitter, which I'm not, but many people are, there you go. You can follow them and get some quick little video tips, whatever is on Twitter, and see what they got. These are trainings. Just like we said, everyone's got contact hours every year, whether you got to do 5 or you got to do 20. It really depends on your educational level. So making sure that you are well prepared. Ms. Ruby will fill you in how many hours you need every year. And what I just showed you, that Cox College is a great way to get your courses done for free, but you also have to make sure these are done. So you can do EDU 119, which we really like everyone to do. And you can do it through the Teach Scholarship. So you don't have to pay a penny. We give you a raise when you finish it. And you probably will get a promotion to a new position if you're interested in the future, because then you have the credentials you need to become a co-teacher. And that's a great stepping stone. All health and safety trainings, get them done. They're on Moodle. Very easy, self-paced. Recognizing and responding to child maltreatment, that is number 1. You have to do that first within the first 6 weeks of employment. Don't skip that one. And fire safety is every year. Please don't forget it's every year. It is very boring to do it on Southern Child Development website, but it's also self-paced. So you can do it in your pajamas instead of having to go over to one place and sitting through fire safety on a time when you want to be spending with your kids at home and you got to find childcare. The one on Southwestern Child Development is very easy to get to because it's self-paced. You can stop it and start it the next night. You can do it over 3 nights, but you do have to do it every year. So please make sure you get your certificates into Ms. Ruby. It's Sid's course. Martin Pitt offers them, but also Ruby and I have a connection through our Facebook group who does it different nights virtually. So you can do It's Sid's virtually and get it done. And you don't have to go, like we said, into one place and do it in person, which sometimes is very difficult for working parents. And NC Fellow, we ask that you do the first year. You have to do it the first year, but we ask that everyone do it sooner rather than later, because it teaches you how to write lesson plans. And it's very supportive, because if you're going into a room and you know what to look for in the lesson plan, that's where this comes in handy. Ruby said, apply as a student at an accredited school of your choice to complete and turn in a completed teach application by July if you want to start school for fall 2023. It's a big deal. If you want to start school in the fall, you have pretty much try to do it as soon as July, because then Ruby can get your paperwork in, you get to speak with your counselors, and you get to make your plan of study, and you're not rushed. There's been a lot of people who have been rushed, and then they didn't get the order of courses in the right order. You want to take EDU 119 first, because that's your first pay raise right there. EDU 119 gets it done. Then as you continue through your coursework and you accomplish more, then you get more pay raises, you get more responsibilities, and you can accomplish more at work while you're going to school. And also you have to think about, if you want paid study time, remember it's $10 an hour for the 3 hours of study time per week. So if you really want study time away from home, it's worth it, but it is $10 an hour. So it's not at your pay rate. Just keep that in mind. And we do cover the cost of books. So I recommend you get physical books to keep forever and ever, because the books are covered 100%. Don't go get a virtual digital book and then it disappears 30 days later. You don't have it as a reference anymore. So just keep that in mind. Okay. And then CPR with us is free. It's always free. Just don't stand us up. Make sure you show up. All right. Joyce, did you have anything to add? No?
No, I think I'm good. I think you covered just about everything.
Sweet deal. All right. So thank you everyone for attending. I'm sorry that some people couldn't get on. I see 23 participants now, so that's a good sign. But they can always watch the recording. The recording will be posted this evening. I will also post our raffle winners. Sorry for those who couldn't join, because obviously they didn't get into the raffle, not for lack of trying. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening.